Hi dear children, wonderful day to you all. The other day's previous classes we were discussing about two different lessons which are related to trees because our unit was related to trees. And what is the name of our unit? The World of Trees, second unit. And we have completed the first section there, that was about the redwood trees, and the third section also, that was about the banyan tree, and it was a beautiful talk. And now we are going to discuss about section 2, that is the blossom tree. That is also about a tree. The blossom tree was a very big tree, and we'll see what is the lesson. This is a really beautiful story. You will be able to really love the story and enjoy it, and will understand how you can face the problems intellectually and solve them without hurting anyone. Let's see how it happens here in the lesson. I'm going to read the first paragraph. Section 2, The Blossom Tree. Long ago, in the city of Benares, there once lived a great king, and his name was King Brahmadatta. He was loved by all the people in Benares, for instead of taxing people or making war, King Brahmadatta loved to garden. And of all the plants and trees in the city, his favorite was the blossom tree. In the first paragraph, it says that there was a king named the Brahmadatta, and he was the ruler of Benares. And he loved the people very much, and the people also loved him very much. Why? Because he never wanted to go for wars, but instead he wanted to go for gardening. What is gardening? Planting trees, planting bushes, all those things. So he was making his country a green place. He was making gardening for his country. And one of the trees which was famous in the place was the blossom tree. Let's see the second paragraph. It was said that even when Benares was but a small village by the river, the blossom tree was already an ancient plant. Some people believed that the blossom tree's roots went so deep that they went to the realm of the demons. Others believed that the blossom tree's great boughs touched heaven itself. In the first paragraph, it said that the King Brahmadatta, loved the blossom tree the most. But do you think King Brahmadatta planted this blossom tree? No. It is said by the old people, aged people, that even when this big kingdom, Benares, was a small village near a river also, this big blossom tree was there. That's what they say, the aged people, the old people says about the origin of the blossom tree, like that. And they believed that the roots of the blossom tree reached into the very deep into the demon, and some others believed that the branches and the leaves of the big blossom tree reached heaven and touches the heaven, which means people felt that it had no beginning and no end. So whatever it is, the king loved the blossom tree, the people loved the blossom tree, everybody loved it, and it was really a beautiful and big tree. We'll see the next paragraph. King Brahmadatta loved the blossom tree because to him it was a poem of life. He spent a lot of time in its shade. But for all the time King Brahmadatta spent beneath the boughs of the blossom tree, he never once noticed the little kusha grass that grew around the tree or the little chameleons that played around. No, he only has eyes for the blossom tree, but the spirit of the blossom tree knew all about the kusha grass and its spirit and chameleons, for they had been friends for longer than time. Here in this paragraph, it says that the king loved the blossom tree, that he used to spend a lot of time sitting under the blossom tree. He used to look at the branches, big branches of the blossom tree, the beautiful leaves of the blossom tree and to enjoy the breeze coming under. And he was looking only into the blossom tree, that he never looked at the small kusha grass which was growing near the blossom tree, and was not looking into the live chameleons. And whatever is the condition, even though the king was not noticing, the mind of the big blossom tree could feel the presence of the little kusha grass and the chameleons there, because they were friends for a very long time. And we'll go for the next paragraph.
One day the king was seated in his great throne room with his wife, the queen, sipping tea, when something fell into his tea. "Something has fallen into my tea," he said. It was white. It floated. Then another bit fell. He looked up. The plaster was beginning to fall from the ceiling. "Plaster," he said. Suddenly there was a great rumble in the palace. "The palace is going to collapse," he cried, for making its way across the ceiling was an immense crack, and great chunks of plaster were falling out across the great throne room. And in the great wooden pillar which held up the entire palace, there was a deep crack.
And one day, when the king was sitting with his wife, the queen of the country, and was sipping a cup of tea, in a sudden, something fallen down into the tea. What would be that? And the king was surprised. "Something fallen into my tea," he said, and it was floating over. And then another piece again fallen down. Then in a sudden, the king realized that the plaster of the roof of the palace was falling down, which means the palace was getting some damages. That's not very good, right? How can they clear it? In a sudden, when the king realized that it was the plaster of the roof coming down, falling down, he understood that the palace is in danger. We'll continue the lesson. In a sudden, the king cried loudly, "The palace is going to collapse. The palace is going to break down into pieces. It is going to come down. It's going to break down." And then what happened is that there was a very big crack on the entire palace. Throughout the palace, there was a very big crack. How can we clear it when there is a very big crack? When it is being distracted, it's going to get distracted. What will happen? Of course, they are in danger. Let's see how they are going to find a solution. We'll read the next paragraph. And
"Carpenters, builders," he cried, "quickly go out into the park, into the gardens, find a tree to replace the pillar. Hurry, we must repair the palace." So the carpenters and the builders searched from park to park, tree to tree, measuring, trying to find out a tree great enough to replace the pillar. But it was not long before one of the head carpenters returned to the king and fell on his knees before him. "Your Majesty, it pains me to report that there is only one tree great enough to replace the pillar."
okay, here in this paragraph, the king asked all the carpenters and all other workers, building workers, to join together and to find out a solution. And they went in search of such a big tree which could make such a big pillar to make the palace stable there. That is the only solution. That's what they found out. They have to make a very big pillar and to make the palace kept on that pillar, that the palace will not crack down. It will not fall down. So he asked all the carpenters and all the other workers to find a tree. And it was not very long that one head of the carpenters came and was sitting on his knees and was telling with big cry. What was he telling? There is no other tree but only one tree to help us to protect the palace. And the king was very curious. Which is that tree? He asked. Then the
Well, what is it? What is it? Asked the king. It is the blossom tree. The king looked at the builder. The jewel of Banaras, the most beautiful tree in all of India. No, there must be another.
When the carpenter said there is only one and only tree which can protect the palace, then the king was really curious and he asked, which tree is there in our country to protect our palace? And the carpenter was again in sadness, but he said, that is the one and only blossom tree. I'm going to read the next paragraph.
There is no other king. Poor King Brahmadatta. He did not know what to do. He could either save the blossom tree or let his palace collapse, but he could not do the latter. His servants, his family lived there. The people needed to see the king in the palace.
The king was really surprised hearing that the one and only tree, which is the big blossom tree, is the only solution to protect the palace. He could not even believe it. He was really shocked. He asked, are you sure there is no other tree which can protect our palace? Then the carpenters said, there is no other way other than selecting the big blossom tree. And then the king was really sad. He was having two options in his mind. One was to protect the big blossom tree and the other one was to protect the palace. And the second one, he cannot think of spoiling it, the palace. He cannot think of leaving the palace to crack it into fall down. And he never wanted it to happen because the people wanted to see the king in the palace, and the palace must be there for many people to survive. All those things are there, so the king never wanted the palace to be destroyed, spoiled. So he could not think of leaving the palace as it is. Now let's read the next paragraph. I'm going to read, listen and read with me.
It was too big a decision for the king, so he went that night out into the park to the blossom tree itself. Its mighty branches rose above him, and he could feel its immense spirit surging from the earth. Up its trunk, out its boughs, out its leaves, down into the earth, into its roots again. And he prayed to the spirit of the mighty tree for an answer. But the spirit of the blossom tree said nothing. And so King Brahmadatta decided to chop it down.
And on that night, the king was too much disturbed because he loved the big blossom tree that much. He thought that that is the tree which served their country in such a flourished way. He felt that that is the tree of their luck. Then how can he chop it down and make the palace strong? He was not in a very good mood. He was really upset. But he just went to the tree and spent some time there, looked at the tree. The branches were growing very high. The roots were coming down from the branches and was going down into the earth again. And the new branches were coming from the sides of the other branches. It was really a flourished mood. And the king asked the blossom tree about a solution. Said all the problems and requested to find out a solution. But the spirit of the blossom tree did not reply. So finally, the king decided to chop the tree. With a great pain in his mind, he finalized that I have to chop the blossom tree and to fix my palace properly. I'm going to read the next paragraph. Listen and read with me.
As soon as the idea entered his mind, the breezes blowing past his ears heard it, and they whispered it to the birds, and the birds flew away in horror, and whispered it to the leaves, and the leaves whispered it to the sun, and the sun whispered it to the entire universe. Soon, all creation knew that in the morning the beautiful blossom tree was to die.
And in a sudden, when the king decided to chop the tree itself, the breeze which was coming nearby could understand what the king was thinking in his mind. It was really shocked hearing the decision of the king, Brahmadatta, and was not at all happy to hear the decision. The breeze moved very fast and shared this news to the birds, shared this news or whispered this news to the birds. The birds were also really unhappy or shocked after hearing it, so that they have shared it to the leaves. And the leaves shared it to the sun, and the sun shared it to the entire universe. Which means the news that the king has decided to chop the big blossom tree has reached the entire universe within no time. Entire universe, each and every creatures in the universe came to know about it. So the entire universe were really unhappy about such a big tree going to get chopped. That will be really making harm to the nature also. The universe was really in an unhappy mood or upset on hearing this sad news. And they all knew, the entire universe knew that the beautiful big blossom tree is going to die. Do you think it's nice to make something die? It's very bad, no? Okay, I'm going to read the next paragraph. Listen to me now and read with me.
And deep in the park that night, the spirits of the other mighty trees, magnificent trees, joined her. And they said, "What will you do? You must leave your body tomorrow morning. What will you do? They are going to chop you down."
And on that night, all the other tree spirits joined together and reached near the big blossom tree and started discussing. One tree said, "You have to leave your body tomorrow because you will be chopped tomorrow." Did you find any solution to save yourself? The trees asked the big blossom tree. Now let's see the next paragraph. I'm going to read the next paragraph in page number 40. The first paragraph in page number 40. Listen and read with me now.
And the blossom tree spirit said, "I have lived in my body for thousands of years. I do not know how to live in another body. What will I do?" "Well," said one of the others, "you should try this." "No, no, blossom tree, you must do this to save yourself." "No, no, no," said another, "do this." But though the proud spirits of the other trees had something to say, in her heart the blossom tree spirit knew that they could not help her. And so, all alone in the darkness of the night, the blossom tree spirit wept. The night passed. All alone she waited, when in the darkness, an hour before dawn, in the lawn, she heard a tiny voice.
The blossom tree was really unhappy and helpless. It said, "I have been living in this big body for a very long time. I do not remember living in any other body, and I cannot even think or imagine about living in some other body. I don't know how to survive." The big blossom tree was really helpless. And the trees started suggesting different ways. One tree said, "Hey, you can survive in this way." But the other tree, second tree said, "No, no, that's not the right way. You have to do this way and to survive yourself." The trees were suggesting different ways to survive, but at last all the ways were in vain, which means they were not in a position to give a good suggestion to make the people stop from cutting the big, beautiful blossom tree. Now the big blossom tree also was really sad, and the night was going to end. All through the night the blossom tree was really sad and was very bad in his mind and upset. It really felt that it's going to get an end to its life. Was really in a bad mood. And then the big blossom tree was just keeping quiet and silent. It was almost an hour to the day, morning time, and at that time it could hear someone calling, "Hey blossom tree, hey, listen here." Now I'm going to read the next paragraph. Listen to me.
Blossom tree, who is it? She said. Blossom tree, it's me, the spirit of Kusha grass. Oh, little Kusha grass, can you help me? Blossom tree, I have an idea. What is your idea? Little Kusha grass. And the great spirit of Blossom tree leaned over and listened to the tiny voice of the Kusha grass.
In a sudden, when the big blossom tree heard someone calling, it was really surprised and asked, "Who is that?" And he looked around to see who is calling him. And then the big blossom tree understood that it was the spirit of the little Kusha grass. And the little Kusha grass asked, "What I heard is true, but how are you going to save yourself?" The tree was really sad and said, "I have no idea how to save myself. Do you have an idea to save my spirit and my life?" The little Kusha grass said, "Yes, of course, I have an idea." Then the little Kusha grass was ready to say the idea. Spirit of the big blossom tree leaned towards the little Kusha grass and listened to what the Kusha grass was telling. Can you imagine what the Kusha grass was telling? We'll have a discussion about the solution, whether the blossom tree will be chopped by the carpenters or it will save its life. That all things we will learn in the next class. I'm going to wind up the session. Thank you. Have a nice day.